I fell in love with the wrong person. And feel hopeless at the moment and need to get this out. I've been in a relationship for 10 years with an amazing woman. We met in another country, where I had been living for many years. She was just on vacation. We dated for a year, traveling back and forth. She moved in with me and then wanted to move home after a year, to continue her studies. I left everything for her. We moved back to our home country to be together. We've been through much. We've had our ups and downs. I've always loved her deeply. I still do. But she's a workaholic and has issues with stress and anxiety, which I cannot help her with. It consumes her and pushes my feelings and needs to the side. Lately I felt myself drift away from her. She doesn't want to be intimate anymore. She's been away a lot the past few years, working on a huge project in another town. I feel more and more lonely in the relationship. I built a life in this town. I have everything here now. Close friends, hobbies, stories from most streets, a job I like. She's been away so much that she has very little here. She talks more and more about how she wants to move back to her hometown, where her family lives. Far away. I have nothing there. We do talk about all these things but we never find a real solution to it all. As of lately I feel lost in it. The other complication. I often pass by a connivance store on my breaks, just around the corner from my work. There is this woman working there, which I pretty much fell for at first sight. I feel happy seeing her and it seems to be mutual. We never managed to talk too much so I've been collecting courage to ask her out. I've told myself, just to get to know her, as a friend. But I know I just want someone to be close with. Well, I did ask her out the other day. I gave her my number. She texted me today. Turns out she's 19, she was interested in me. But she's just too young, and I'm too old for her. We're not gonna meet up. I feel dumb. And unhappily in a relationship with a woman I love, whom I'm drifting away from emotionally, and now also have feelings for a woman too young. A very long story surmised shortly with heartache. Story 2. My first relationship ended when my ex cheated with my mom's neighbor for money. So, this happened well over 5 years ago and we've both matured since then, but this is probably one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me, so I'm sharing it with Reddit. I guess the story begins when a guy buys the house next door to my mom's place. We'll call him Alvin. I would have been 18 or 19 at the time. I never really saw Alvin because I had just moved out of my mom's, so we didn't have any sort of interaction before all this went down. One day, my ex, we'll call him Simon, sees him as we're leaving my mom's, and he tells me that the new neighbor is his uncle. I never really thought anything of it. Sometime after that, Simon woke me up at like 2 a.m. and asked if he could take my car and go get money from his uncle for McDonald's. Since everything was close by, I agreed and went back to sleep. The next day, I was using my laptop and noticed a messaging app in my browsing history. Out of curiosity, and probably suspicion, I opened it and found a ton of messages between Simon and another user. I was able to figure out that the user was actually Alvin by the profile picture, and his age/location was listed next to his username. The last conversation that Alvin had with Simon was talking about doing something intimate for $40. Obviously, I read as much of their messages as I could stand, but they had been talking for a while and that last intimate encounter wasn't their first. Since Simon wasn't in school and didn't have a job at the time, he used my phone a lot too. One of his messages said that he had to delete the app quick cause it's on my girl's phone, which led me to looking through my phone too. Turns out that the site, I don't remember what site it was, my current boyfriend, who was actually the person I was living with at the time, thinks it was called Tagged, had its own app, which had been deleted from my phone. I also found nudes in my recently deleted photos folder. I confronted Alvin first. I went to his house and when he answered the door I bombarded him with a bunch of questions. I asked him if he knew how old Simon was and he admitted that he did. When I informed him that Simon told me that he was Simon's uncle, he called Simon an idiot, so they weren't related. After that, I never really talked to Alvin again, even after I moved back in with my mom. He was always respectful of my mom and grandma though. Obviously, I broke up with Simon. This wasn't the first time he'd ever cheated on me, and we had only dated for a little over a year by the time we were done for good. To quote my current boyfriend, I spent the night driving and screaming and I scared the out of him. Story 3. Should I go back to my soon-to-be ex-wife? I married my wife a year ago. After 5 to 6 months of marriage I found out my wife cheated on me with one of our friend. After I found out her reaction was no guilt and she was more mad why I told her family everything. The next day she tried to commit suicide but she survived. I was heartbroken and don't know what to do or what's going on in my life. I stay with her in hospital all day until she recovers. But once she got out of hospital I left to live with my sister to different city. However, after some time I came back and wanted to get answers of many questions I have. But every time I ask questions she used to get mad most of time and all we do was fighting. Then after some time she start bring divorce because I used to ask same questions even though she answer them I used to ask again, but I was mentally stressed and always overthinking. I wanted to work out so I tell her I won't ask her anything anymore. It was really hard to live with all that overthinking. After a month she start texting her ex and for asking for money that she gave him. She text his aunt and his girlfriend it was not that big amount and we don't have any money issue, and I told her in past that we don't need that money, if she need money I will give it to her, but she still ask him. Because of my insecurity I decided to move out at that time. I started living with my uncle in same city and stop answering her calls and texts. Our common friends tell me she miss me and want to talk. I text her telling I don't like the way she make me feel when I ask questions, and how she don't listen to me. She promised me that she will try to make it work out and told me to come back. But I told her it's better to take a break, but she insisted to continue talking on texts. After few weeks of depression one day I text her that I want to share my feelings with her but she don't keep my things private. Her response was either leave her if I can't share things with her or open relationship. That was last straw for me. I block her, moved to different states for better job with my friend. And her first text was to my friend was asking for divorce, so I filled divorce. Once she got to know I filled for divorce she start begging me to stay. She only say she wanted divorce so I can stop asking questions and work on our marriage. But I told her I was to divorce and work on myself. But she continued to text and call me with different and kept she was number after coming back from hospital, but she miss me. While all this I got to know she text that same guy she cheated on me, asking how could he ask out girl after she got caught. So I asked her what she doing because she don't want signed divorce papers and I was waiting on her for months. But she say she only wanted to know, she don't have any intentions to get back to him, she hate him and she start calling me narcissist. I didn't care about anything, I told her to sign the papers. But she keep refusing me and keep telling me she love me and will never sign the divorce papers. She say she wanted to meet in person and everything will work out. I care about her but I know if I go to her I will all hell again for me. I just need divorce and focused on my career. Story 4. Should I carry on in this? What she did is hard to swallow. Long story short, we started casually 2 years ago. We were dating for a few months and slowly we were getting closer, hanging out all the time together etc., pretty much acting like a couple which are very good friends. We are both from the same small town and I know she had flings before but I got over it somehow as it was in the past and kind of focused on the current moment. There was a period just before her prom she said she's going with her best friend F to a spa holiday for a few days. I was cool with that, and as I was busy with work at the time and if I wanted to join I just couldn't. Not that she asked me. When she came back there was a month of lovely time together until she became a bit cold. I started wondering what is going on. She occasionally stopped answering my phone calls etc. She started seeing her friend M from school just as friends, what she said, and that she was helping him with SMTH blah blah blah, which was true at the T came. At that point I asked what is going on and that she should tell me, and it ended up she was starting another relationship with him before even having the decency to tell me anything. So I sent her a message and cut off things. We didn't communicate for a whole year. I found new GF and she was lovely but things just didn't work with her. I think that was the time when, my ex at the time, became jealous. 6 months in my new relationship. An year after, when she saw me in the cafe where she worked, she was super happy to see me, touchy etc. I was already single then and kind of was happy to see her too. I already got over her and that didn't affect me emotionally. Few months forward we started chatting again. I didn't know anything about her relationship status. I kind of knew that she was still in relationship with her friend from school but nothing certain I could recall for. Long story short, she left him and came back to me. Their breakup was a bit of a long process and she was telling that they haven't slept together for a few months as all it was died, but she occasionally had to meet him as they shared a lot of things and it took time to tell him that she has another man now, me, and he previously knew about me, you know the story. She was telling me she made a mistake what she did etc. and she shouldn't have done all that, but she was really confused and now want to leave this in the past as we can't change it. She wasn't really apologetic though. Anyways, she is young and she was even younger couple years ago. I myself have done so much in my early years, so I decided to forgive her and start from scratch. She is currently really lovely, she treats me with a lot of care and investment. However, just recently, a week ago I caught her lying about something stupid and we had a serious conversation that this is unacceptable even for silly thing like that. She said she was at uni, but in reality she was sleeping and I found out. Her words are that she didn't want to disappoint me and all that. However, this conversation developed into talking about past things and I confronted her about couple things and I found out / she admitted that when she was on that spa holiday, there was a guy with them, who I know, and he apparently has been always pretending being my friend. I know him for years and we used to hang out together, and they ended up having a threesome. Well, now she states that they were only playing and she didn't have penetrative intimate with him but only oral. I guess, which I don't believe tbh, I just didn't want to know details as I was disgusted. Still, whatever it is not nothing and I still can't process all of it and don't know how to react. I was of course feeling insulted / disrespected and all that, as this to me is cheating, especially because she kept sleeping with me after. Now she says that, first it was a huge mistake, she regrets and she was doing stupid things in the past not realizing what she has, and second that it wasn't really what I think and it was innocent action, just more like a playful act than anything rough. However, she is goddess at BJ and I don't believe in any innocence about what she's saying. WTF means just playing. Since then I've been a bit distant, just not feeling I want communication anymore. We are still together though. Yesterday, I realized / remembered that after the spa holiday, when she came back she and her friend went to get it tattooed. Her friend tattooed intimate under her lip and my GF art on her hip. Which at the time didn't make any sense / connection, but now it all falls together and I know the reason why they tattooed this. Still haven't shared my foundings with her. All that keeps ringing in my head and images are popping up all the time for the past week. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can get over that or trust her anymore. Not only that, just the thought what she did is making me feel sick. Would anyone forgive and live with that? I don't know if I do it, makes me weaker or stronger person. I don't know if it is a mistake if I leave her or not. Will I regret? She seems like have realized things and really have feelings for me, as she always had, I'm sure, but the whole trauma that this comes with I don't know if I can handle, get over or heal of if I stay in this relationship.